Hello there friends and welcome. In this video I'm going to talk about what I consider to be the best daggers in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. There's actually a surprising amount of good daggers in the game, spread through all of the chapters, most likely because Woljif, the Tiefling, specializes in dagger and is a story character. So without further ado, here it is. As usual, this list is in order of availability, based on how early you can get each dagger. The first dagger of note that you can find is the Attrition dagger. Whenever you attack the enemy with it, they will take 1 point of constitution as ability damage. An enemy that starts with an even value in constitution, such as 22 for example, and then takes a penalty to constitution, will actually have his hit points reduced based on his hit dice. Even just a single point of constitution loss in this case will be beneficial for our characters, especially considering the constitution penalty from this dagger will stack, so overall it is a very useful weapon. This dagger can actually be found pretty early during the game. All you have to do is to buy it from Joran Vane, Stoughton's brother, that is the dwarf merchant who stays near the forge outside of Defender's Heart, the tavern in chapter 1. A second very useful dagger is the shiny dagger. Not only is it cold iron, meaning it will pierce demons' damage resistance against physical damage, it's also going to automatically blind the enemy without a save whenever it confirms a critical hit. Blind is a very useful status ailment, as it will not only give the enemy a 50% miss chance in melee, it's also going to highly reduce their armor class. This dagger can also be found reasonably early, inside the Grey Garrison at the end of chapter 1. My third favorite dagger in this list is Retriever's Claw. This is a +2 cold iron dagger that has a very unique effect. It actually has an increased critical multiplier of ×3 instead of just ×2. This will actually stack with Mythic improved critical and even SKALD Song. So basically, as you can see here, with this dagger my Woljif has ×5 critical multiplier, quite massive, and will be able to deal more than 200 damage with just a single dagger hit. Talk about being stacked. You can find this dagger by defeating the Hunter Retriever enemy, basically the Demon Spider here, after passing a skill check to access this area of the Leper's Smile map during chapter 2. Now an extremely powerful dagger is Hasty Eradicator. This dagger is simply insane really. Basically it's going to let you make 2 additional attacks during a full attack action. It's true that the effect do not stack with haste, but even then it's still a whole extra attack over just haste. This dagger is so powerful that you will be able to have up to 10 dagger attacks when dual wielding, 5 for the main hand and also 5 for the offhand. Even a character that does not have a single dual wielding feat will still be able to get 3 attacks in the offhand just by having this dagger equipped there. Remember that even though it only has +2 enhancement by default, you can simply get a caster of your choice to cast the Greater Magic Weapon spell, thus allowing you to increase the dagger's enhancement up to +5. You can find this very powerful dagger at the end of Ragu's quest during chapter 3, inside the Hell Knight outpost. Simply choose not to spare the demon, kill it, and you will find the dagger on one of the corpses. Last but not least, we have 2 very special daggers that can be acquired at the same time and work together in a very powerful combo. The first one is Merciful Fate. It has the very rare Living Bane property that allows it to deal an extra 2d6 irresistible damage against living enemies. It's important to note that demons are also living enemies, so they will take the extra damage. Not only that, but it's also going to deal an additional 4d6 piercing damage to bleeding enemies on a successful hit. That's where the second dagger, Cruel Fate, comes into play. It is a +5 Cruel Bleed dagger. The bleed property means it's going to automatically make the enemy bleed for 1d6 hit points per round without a save, thus ensuring Merciful Fate will trigger its powerful effect and increase its damage. Not only that, but whenever this dagger lands a first hit against a new enemy, the enemy will also have to pass a Fortitude save with a rather decent difficulty class of 30 or become vulnerable to piercing damage. This is actually quite huge because being vulnerable to piercing means the enemy is actually going to take 50% more piercing damage, and considering our daggers both deal piercing damage, that's a lot more damage for us. The difficulty class is decent enough. I mean, it's probably not going to work much on unfair or late game hard, but it can be still useful. Now these daggers are a bit tricky to find, and they are also missable. You can get both of these daggers by fighting the demon Yos at the end of Greybor's quest during chapter 4 inside the Assassin's Guild. You have to actually fight them. After you defeat Yoz, actually choose to spare him, so he will give you both of the daggers. And here we go, Merciful Fate and also Cruel Fate. Well, so that was it. I hope you've enjoyed this little video on the best daggers in Wrath of the Righteous. If you think I missed a certain dagger that you like, please be sure to comment down below. Thank you for watching and see you next time, friends.